With that, Mr. Cooper, I recognize that you would like the floor, and I pass it to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I will move the motion that has been put on notice, and I'm going to read it into the record, and then I will make some brief remarks. The motion is as follows, that further to the Globe and Mail report of May 23rd, 2024, which revealed that the Liberal cabinet is withholding an undisclosed number of documents requested by the Commissioner of the Public Inquiry into Foreign Interference in Federal Electoral Processes and Democratic Institutions, and that nearly 10% of documents provided to the Commission by the Cabinet contain redactions, and in relation to its study of foreign election interference, the Committee, A, pursuant to Standing Order 108 3C4, report to the House that, in its opinion, the Cabinet should provide to the Commissioner of the Public Inquiry into Foreign Interference in Federal Electoral Processes and Democratic Institutions all documents requested by the Commissioner without redaction. B, invite the following witnesses to appear. 1, the Honorable Dominic LeBlanc, Minister of Public Safety, Democratic Institutions, and Intergovernmental Affairs for 2 hours. 2, the appropriate representatives from the Privy Council office for 1 hour. 3, the appropriate representatives from the Foreign Interference Commission for 1 hour. 4, Dan Stanton, former manager at the Canadian Security and Intelligence Service for 1 hour. And C, after considering this witness testimony, report its findings on this matter to the House. And so that is the motion that has been put on the table. Mr. Chair, the cover-up continues. After the Prime Minister got caught turning a blind eye to Beijing's interference in our elections, the Prime Minister for months fought tooth and nail against holding a public inquiry. He went so far as to appoint a long-standing family friend as a fake rapporteur to produce a whitewash report to shield him from accountability for failing to act on multiple briefings from CSIS and the Security and Intelligence Establishment about Beijing's interference, including in the 2019 and 2021 elections, because such interference benefited the Liberal Party and the Prime Minister was prepared to turn a blind eye to it. He did turn a blind eye to it and covered it up until he got caught and then appointed Mr. Johnson. Now, when the findings of the Prime Minister's fake rapporteur did not hold up to scrutiny, the Prime Minister finally, after months of calls from Conservatives, succumbed and established a national inquiry, and Madam Justice Hogg was appointed as the commissioner of that inquiry. And at the time of the appointment of Madam Justice Hogg, Minister LeBlanc reassured that the government would cooperate with the inquiry. Minister LeBlanc was quoted as saying, quote, Justice Hogg will have full access to all relevant cabinet documents as well as all other information she deems relevant for the purposes of her inquiry, end of quote. Well, Mr. Chair, that has turned out not to be true. Minister LeBlanc said that the government would fully cooperate, that it would turn over all relevant documents to Madam Justice Hogg, but we now find out that that hasn't happened. In a report of May 23rd, 2024 in the Globe and Mail, entitled Trudeau Cabinet Withholding Documents on Foreign Interference from Inquiry, a spokesperson for the Prime Minister's Department, the PCO, acknowledges that 10% of cabinet documents turned over to the Commissioner have been redacted, and that there are a further undisclosed number of cabinet documents that have not been turned over at all. And it is evident that these are documents that Madam Justice Hogg has requested, and it's evident based upon the footnote in her first report, in which there is mention of ongoing discussions about documents that Madam Justice Hogg has requested that the Prime Minister's Department has not turned over. Madam Justice Hogg is to fulfill her mandate. It is important that she receive all of the documents that she has requested. And I will remind members of the committee through you, Mr. Chair, that part of the mandate of Madam Justice Hogg is to look at what the Prime Minister, what the Cabinet knew, when they learned of it, and the actions or inaction that they took respecting Beijing's interference in our democracy. And in order to scrutinize that and evaluate that and report on that, as is the mandate of Madam Justice Hogg, it is important for her to know what information the Cabinet had. Not parts of the information, but all of the information. And what decisions stemmed from the information that was before the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, information that is being withheld from Madam Justice Hogg. In short, contrary to what has turned out to be the false reassurance of Minister LeBlanc that the government would cooperate with the Commission, what we have is a continuation of the cover-up, of withholding now documents to obstruct the work of Commissioner Hogg. This is completely unacceptable, and it is why we have brought forward the 1064 letter and have put forward this motion to get to the bottom of this obstruction. It is imperative that we hear from Minister LeBlanc and we hear from the Prime Minister's Department, and we hear from the representative from the inquiry itself, because it is important that the obstruction end and that all documents relevant and that are requested by Madam Justice Hogg are in fact turned over to her. And I hope that this committee can reach agreement in moving forward so that we can commence such hearings.
Thanks very much, Mr. Cooper.